imagine your company's newest licensed action figure is like flying off the shelves globally.
Right, a massive success.
Exactly. But now imagine having to pull all 83 million of them back just because a factory manager looked at an outdated spreadsheet.
Yeah, that is a nightmare scenario.
It really is. Well, welcome to Kima Supply Chain Soundbites. Today we're exploring why compliance in licensed merchandise breaks down, and we're drawing from the free Kima Licensed Merchandise Compliance Self-Assessment Checklist.
And just a quick note before we jump in.
Okay.
If you ever need in-depth education on niche compliance and quality topics, Kiba Quick Guides and Checklists are an absolutely incredible resource.
Yeah, they really are. So let's talk about the timing of this discussion because it feels pretty critical right now.
Oh, it is. I mean, look at last year. We saw over 83 million consumer products recalled in the U.S. alone. And that pushed injuries to like an 8-year high.
Wow, an 8-year high. That's huge.
Right. And over in Europe, it's the same story. The EU Safety Gate logged a record 4,137 safety alerts.
And it seems like that friction is only increasing because Kima's 2026 sourcing survey found that half of all supply chains expect compliance challenges to disrupt their operations this year.
Yeah, which is double the rate from just 12 months ago.
Double. That's wild.
Yeah.
And the stakes for you, the listener, they aren't just fines anymore.
No, not at all. We're talking retailer chargebacks, license revocations, and completely burned bridges. Brands are they're refusing to renew licenses with partners who expose them to that kind of reputational damage.
Yeah, the pressure is intense. And that kind of pressure usually exposes cracks in the foundation, starting with the rules themselves, right?
Exactly. So this brings us to the first major failure point, which we call requirements drift.
Right. So this is when you have this tangled web of consumer safety laws.
Yes.
Like CPSIA for kids products in the US, UKCA in Britain, and then GPSR across the EU.
Yeah, and the issue isn't that those laws exist. It's that licensor standards, retailer requirements, and those regional regulations just, they fall completely out of sync.
So people end up circulating outdated test plans.
Exactly. Or you have labs testing to the completely wrong scope. It happens because of organizational silos. Like, a licensor might update a chemical restriction, but the retailer's manual doesn't reflect that change.
Leaving the supplier just caught in the middle.
Right.
So how do you actually fix a misaligned rulebook across this global decentralized network?
Well, you have to strip away the ambiguity. You assign one named owner per test protocol, and you maintain a single consolidated test plan that's per licensor, per product category, and per destination market.
Got it. So no more competing documents floating around.
Exactly. One single source of truth.
Which naturally brings us to the next problem.
Yep.
Because if the rules at the corporate level are a mess, the factories on the other end are, well, they're forced to play guessing games.
Yeah, and to be clear, the factories aren't guessing out of negligence.
Right, they just don't know.
Exactly. They're guessing because the specific requirements never actually make it to the production floor.
Mm-hmm.
Take a factory producing branded promotional drinkware. They might apply these really strict toy standard chemical thresholds just because their previous run happened to be for a children's line.
Oh, I see. Meaning the adult drinkware suddenly ships with the wrong documentation for something like Proposition 65, right? Like California's chemical warning law.
Precisely.
Right.
And the financial impact of that is massive. The American Society for Quality estimates that the cost of quality issues eats up 15 to 20% of total sales revenue.
Wait, up to 20%?
Yeah. And defects caught late are exponentially more expensive than catching a wrong spec early on.
It's like handing a contractor blueprints for a skyscraper but leaving out the plumbing specs. When the sinks don't work, you can't be mad that they just used pipes from their last job.
That is exactly the mechanism at play. So to bridge that gap, brands really need to create standardized briefing templates.
Translating the high-level regulations into actionable factory language.
Exactly. And you have to strictly mandate a pre-production sign-off before a single machine even turns on.
That makes perfect sense. But let's say the factory does have the right specs. Even then, errors can hide in plain sight if the communication is fragmented, right? I'm talking about data silos.
Oh, absolutely. Test results, audit reports, corrective actions. They all end up trapped in these scattered lab portals or offline spreadsheets or, buried in email threads.
And when data is decentralized like that, the patterns are just invisible.
Completely. But when large testing programs actually consolidate their data, they often find that only about 3% of products actually fail tests.
Wait, really? Only 3%?
Yeah, and the vast majority of those failures originate from just a handful of specific suppliers. That concentration only becomes obvious once the data is viewed centrally.
Okay, I'll play devil's advocate here, though. Doesn't gathering and centralizing all this global data just create a massive administrative headache? Like, you're basically hiring people just to move data around.
It's actually the exact opposite. The current scattered system is what causes the headache. Teams spend all day chasing down emails.
Oh, right, because they're digging through inboxes.
Exactly. Centralizing compliance data into one platform automates that visibility. You stop managing your inbox and start managing actual risk.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. And Kima's survey confirms that fully mapped supply chains are nearly twice as effective at managing quality. The ultimate fix is to tie a factory's approval status directly to their real-time compliance performance.
Brilliant. So before we wrap up, I want to leave you, the listener, with this thought. If a major recall hit your product line tomorrow, how many emails or spreadsheets would it take for you to figure out exactly which factory made the mistake?
That's a scary question.
Yeah, and if the answer is more than 0, your data is already siloed. So here are 3 practical steps to diagnose your exposure and prioritize fixes right now.
Step 1.
Oh, go ahead.
Thanks. Step 1. Pick one failure pattern from our discussion today that resonates most with your current program and assess your team against it this week.
And step 2. Download Kima's licensed merchandise compliance self-assessment checklist. It includes a 12-point self-assessment with a scoring rubric so you can benchmark your program and prioritize those fixes by risk level.
Perfect. And step 3, if you score moderate or high risk, request a 30-minute compliance assessment with a Kima specialist to map the checklist to your specific licensors and product categories.
Thank you for listening to Kima's Supply Chain Soundbites.